Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome back. It is Taco Tuesday, Uli's favorite day. Uli, are you getting tacos today? Uli got a little prize in the mail over the weekend for her little kitty cat, Finn, catnip bubbles, or as I call them, crack bubbles. Because when you blow these catnip bubbles, cats go crazy. And well, I don't think her little kitty cat needed that encouragement. Poppy said, missed you yesterday. Brooks, missed you guys too. I tell you what, this case right here, okay, for one, when I miss a day, I feel like I've missed a month. I really do. But with this case, you miss a minute, you're a week behind. Insanely Confused said, this is close to home. We have a lot of locals in here. And I agree, Insanely Confused. They need to catch this dude. We're going to go through it today, and you may have already seen it. All the blockades they have. There's one apartment building not too far from where Austin's Audi was found. And they're checking people's cars. No warrant, no nothing. They are flat out just opening trunks, looking in the back seat. I mean, anything. They want this dude bad because he is mean as a snake. And you know that the district attorney of the county that he was originally being held in for his stint for armed robbery and 13 counts of threatening jurors. Okay, I'm not talking about prank phone calls. He threatened to kill the damn jurors that were on his case. Woo! The DA said he should never have been let out, but the pardon and parole system let him out. And oh, Caitlin, where is she? Because she's the one that brought the devil to the den. Oh, she did. I believe she's the reason that Courtney and Matthew, let me put the pictures up because for this case, we need a whiteboard, okay? We need a whiteboard. Matthew is there at the top with Adriana and Weslin, their baby. Courtney is right below. She's the grandma. And somehow they got involved in this Vice gang. Okay? They were involved with it. That drop off, they were dropping drugs off and other things to the prison. We know that Caitlin was very involved with him. DT Driver said, Brooks, put your sketch up of the breakdown of who's involved. Yeah, I did a whole sketch for my husband. I'll take a picture of it and put it up. Jules said, funeral plan today for Matthew. And isn't it odd that in his obituary, they don't mention Adriana or anyone in her family? My understanding is his family is real pissed. Real pissed. And his mama, if what I read on the internet is true, and you know I believe everything I read on the damn internet, okay? Al Gore's not going to lie to me. It's his internet. Said his mama has custody of Weslin. Woo! Woo! My friends, this is a lot. Uh-oh, Honey Badger, thank you. That's why I need you guys. Honey Badger said no, they went back and added Adriana. Woo! Okay. We got a lot to go through. Let's take a minute and tell everyone good morning and woo, we missed you. All right, be extra careful. Insanely Confused. She said, I'm 2 hours east of Jackson, but he has help, so he can be anywhere. She says they're out there now. They are. Guess who else is out there? Ernie. Ernie did his fingerprints last week. Yes, he did. And he is bounty hunting today. Yeah, Austin was spotted on video last night. Susan and I were talking about this morning. Trying to break into that church. You know, a lot of those churches have daycares, preschools, Bible school. Could you imagine if you're a member of that church, or if your child goes to Mother's Day out or something there, and that freak was trying to break into the church? Now, the question is, does Austin just have the balls of a burglar, or is he just a coward? Is he just a coward? Let's take a gander at this real quick. Who is Austin? Who is Austin? This is from 2ABCWKRN, given the credit where the credit is due. Honey Badger said, well, he does need Jesus. Yeah, but I don't think Jesus wants him breaking into the church. But hey, I can't speak for Jesus. Oh, hold on. In the Ditch said, how long before his gang decides he's bringing them too much heat and they put out a hit on him? He's playing a very, very dangerous game. Yes, he is. He is. And knowing the affiliation with the Vice gang, I really think Adriana and Braden were killed because they witnessed him murdering Courtney and Matthew. I think they were the intended target. But of course, other people have been arrested. They are in jail. Oh, yeah. Austin's family reached out and wrote a letter to the news. Check this out. This is from the Drummond family. It says, there are no words for the level of sadness we feel for the 4 young lives that were taken. The thought that our son could be responsible for such a tragedy is devastating. We urge Austin to turn himself in and end the panic and misery that so many are feeling. That's from his family. That's from the Drummond family. Now, there's a lot of speculation as to, was he married to Caitlin, or were they just like, you know what we say on here, were they just like Facebook married? Because here is an obituary. It says Donna is survived by her parents, a son, Seth Childress, and wife, Briar Ashley. Her daughters, Courtney Childress and Caitlin Speed, and husband, Austin Drummond. The obituary says that Caitlin and Austin were married. Okay. Also, they posted these pictures because she is pregnant. Pregnant. Proudly pregnant with Satan's baby. Okay? And I agree with Honey Badger. It'd be real convenient for him if they were actually married so that she couldn't testify against him. And testifying is part of the problem, because if what is being reported is accurate, both Courtney and Matthew were out of the Vice gang, and they were about to testify against Austin. Okay, Ernie's backstage, and he is out bounty hunting right now for Austin Drummond. Let's have a round of applause for our friend Ernie. What's up, Ernie?
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good. I just got a text from ICU that said Austin was just captured.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow. Do
ICU
you?
are in here.
Yeah. So that's wild. I hope he is. I hope and pray he is. We actually just got here. We start at 12, just in case. After a little bit after 12, we're going to start. But we didn't. I didn't know. I didn't hear nothing about that. So I guess somebody had to get a confirmation on that.
Yeah. All right.
Wow.
Well, my goodness. All right, let's look at this real quick while we're waiting on confirmation because we know how these things go. Lisa Marie, morning, y'all, from Oklahoma City. Hey, the hot weather's coming back, Lisa.
This morning, we're learning more about the criminal history of that suspect, Austin Drummond. Court records show Drummond spent years in prison for robbing a convenience store when he was a 16-year-old and threatening to go after jurors. He was tried in that case as an adult. This happened in 2013 in Jackson. He pleaded guilty in 2015 to 13 counts of retaliation for past action. Drummond was given a combined 13-year sentence, which,
Like I said, mean as a snake. Not only armed robbery, but he threatened all of the jurors.
Oh wow. So I was going to show you something, Brooke. Oh, if you can see right here, can you see that?
Your
We're
phone?
we're, we're
See
yeah
what?
we're in Henderson right now. We're about 25 miles out from where Jackson's at. So there's a I didn't know if y'all can see that or not, but I don't know if you can see it. I'll text it to you, show you. I don't really want to give my location out too much because of what it is. You know how YouTubers are. But as soon as you get a confirmation, yeah, because we're still, I mean, it's still at large right now. We got, and we should be getting. And again, this has just been updated. It updates every 15 minutes. So I'll know something here about. So we'll figure it out.
Yeah, let's look at this. Okay, City of Jackson. City of Jackson. Austin Drummond is in custody. Let's look at this. Get the app. I don't want the app. That's all it said. It says Austin Drummond has been apprehended by authorities. I hope they whipped the dog piss out of him. You know?
So my question is, well, he had too much help where he was at. He had a lot of help, a lot of help.
He did. That's why all those people are in jail. Oh my gosh. That one chick that was helping him. Look at all these people. Look at
Oh
this.
God.
Look at this motley crew that's with him.
Well, you know something else too. If you really look at it, look at the Sebastian Rogers case, and look how far he was from that. What I'm saying is, I know it's gang affiliated.
Mhm.
And yes, it is gang affiliated. Hold on one second.
Okay, there's one mugshot of someone that helped him, accessory after the fact. There's another one. I can't really pronounce his name. And then there's a woman in custody. Let me find her. We'll get to that. Because, yeah, he had help. All right, this is Daria Sanders. She was taken into custody yesterday morning for accessory after the fact. Boy, they like that middle finger and those long-ass fingernails, don't they? Flipping everybody off. Look at that. Look at that. Boy, I'm glad they got him. I wonder if the local police in Jackson got him or the marshals. What do you all think?
I believe it's U.S. Marshals.
Mm-hmm.
Or somebody turned him in to somebody, but he's going to be either way. He'll be handed over to U.S. Marshals.
Yeah. They'll give him back to the marshals, and I just really hope that the next prison he goes to isn't as lax on the job like the last one was. That DA said he should not be released. Should not be released. Okay, someone that has been weighing in on the case, Ernie, you'll like this. In the WVLT chat, you see there at the top, it says Summer Moon, Utah Wells. Okay, this came from Don Wells from the Find Summer Wells Facebook group. Okay, this case has nothing to do with Summer. It has nothing to do with Dawn, and it has nothing to do with Child Protective Services. Okay, so there's Dawn in there telling people that CPS stole all his kids. Well, this lady, who is a real badass, I would love to meet her. She said, Find Summer Wells. I'm sure they took your kids because your home was a death trap. You admitted to buying illicit drugs. You beat your wife. In general, you and your wife are dirtbags, not to mention the fact that other children were removed. You shouldn't be allowed to breed. What's he doing in all these comments, trying to get sympathy for himself?
I think what he's doing is just like you're saying, trying to get sympathy, but he's hitting all these big high profile deals and just trying to get out there and I guess he's trying to get it known again to the fact that, but here's the thing. He's the main suspect. He needs to, I just don't understand. Don Wells is a different kind of creature.
For sure. Okay. Yeah, that is for sure. Mm-hmm. Twister said it's Tim, not him. Whoever it is, that's crazy. That is just crazy. To use this case, which is horrific, to get sympathy for what they have done wrong. Sorry. All right, even though he's been captured, let's look at this because I want to look at this video where they saw him last night.
In the news at 10, I'm Pepper Baker. We have breaking news tonight.
That's a badass outfit she's got on. Damn.
The past hour, the Jackson Police Department released 2 security videos they say show a suspected killer. Officers say this is Austin Drummond caught on camera around Pipkin Road. And it appears that he is holding a rifle, wearing camouflage clothing and tugging on the door. This is another one. He's trying to get inside. And that's why local, state, and federal investigators are warning everyone who lives in that area to lock their doors tonight. ABC 24's Ezekiel Telemaco is live in Jackson in that area where police say cameras captured Drummond. Ezekiel.
Yeah, Pepper, the manhunt for Austin Drummond is really starting to pick up after new surveillance shows Drummond walking around Jackson armed and in camouflage. Now, this all started on Tuesday when somebody opened up their front door and found a baby in front of their home in Dyer County. And then in Lake County, officials confirmed 4 deaths in Carrington Road in connection to that baby that was found. Now, tonight, new surveillance videos show 28-year-old Austin Drummond walking in front of the 700 block of Pipkin Road. He is seen holding a black rifle, wearing camouflage pants, and a long-sleeve camouflage shirt, and a brown backpack. Police say that this is the most recent.
Well, we know he had help. I'm just wondering through all of their discovery what they're going to find out about Caitlin. Because she's having his baby. And again, she's the one that invited the devil to the den.
And confirmed sighting of Drummond, and they still believe that he's in the area. Now, officers are urging residents near Pipkin Road and Pleasant Plains Road to stay alert, lock up their homes, garages, sheds, and check security cameras for any sightings from Sunday night through today. Earlier today, officers searched around Oilwell Road and County Club Lane, and as of right now, Drummond is still on the run. He is wanted for 4 counts.
Okay, this is from yesterday. Okay, this is from yesterday's newscast. According to Jackson police, he has been captured. Okay, he has been captured. So we're just going through some other things.
Of first-degree murder, kidnapping, and firearm charges. The victims were identified as 21-year-old James Wilson, 20-year-old Adriana Williams, 38-year-old Courtney Rose, and 15-year-old Braden Williams. And now the TBI says that Drummond is armed and dangerous, and that reward is now up to $32,500. They say that if you see Drummond, make sure to call 1-800-TBI-FIND. Live in Jackson, I'm Ezekiel Telemaco, ABC 24.
Ezekiel, thank you. Now, 4 people are accused and in jail tonight for helping Austin Drummond avoid capture.
Look at that motley crew. Look at that shit. Look at them. Look at them. And so all of these rumors, and I don't know how this works. I've never been affiliated with a gang. Well, except for you all. You guys are my gang. So they keep talking about this Aryan Brotherhood. Okay. Then why does he have a bunch of black people doing this work for him? How does that even work? Aren't Aryan Brotherhood people like extremely, extremely racist? Ernie's muted. Does anyone understand that? I don't know.
Well, okay, so yes and no. Yes and no. They still have people do certain things for them. Again, it's a power group. But I noticed a lot of people that are Aryan Brotherhood, they still have people who I believe, okay, so let's look at this. It's in Memphis. Let's take Memphis example. Look at the overall population of Memphis and Jackson, Tennessee, period. Look at who you have. Look at where he lived at. The majority of the places, the majority of the people in the gangs he's at is black, correct?
I don't know. We just kept hearing about this Vice gang and Aryan Brotherhood. So not to be racist, no, but I was a little shocked that he has a lot of African American associates. If he's what they say he is. And I don't know anything about this Vice gang. Oh, hold on. Mrs. Italy said he is Vice Lord, and that's a majority black gang. So
exactly.
they let Wonder Bread in to their gang, and this is what he does? Really? They let Wonder Bread in.
Wow.
Stephanie said ABC 7 Memphis has a live coming up at 9:25, Brooks. Woo, you guys are on it. You guys are on it. Let me see if I can find this. ABC Memphis. All right, it'll be on in 1 minute. This is crazy. I'm just wondering where they found him. Let's look at his little video where he was caught on camera while we're waiting on that. Let's look at this. These people are scum. These people are pure scum. Okay, there's no sound. Well, there is, but it's just and footsteps.
So, hey, Brooke, he was captured by the U.S. Marshals.
Okay, that's what I'm reading too, and it looks like the news conference is in about 1 minute. 1 minute.
It was U.S. Marshals assisted by Dyer County. So, yes, I'm getting it from Dale right now. Ah, Lord. So, he has just recently been, he has been captured. So,
Yep. Out by the playground. Out by the playground. Now I just did a little Google research, you know, Ernie, and it says that this Vice Lord gang was founded by the Black Panthers in Chicago. Remember, that's a little beep beep boop boop Google search.
Yes.
Multiple.
Okay. All right, we're getting ready for the press conference.
Hopefully something.
Should be starting here in about 2 seconds. Uh-oh, chat is disabled for this live stream. Well, we got our own chat. I don't need ABC Memphis's chat now, do we? No, do we? And his parents, who, by the way, did not do a good job raising him at all, sent a letter to the news that was shared by Nick Barris saying they were begging him to turn himself in. Okay, let's go to this one. Okay, they haven't started yet. They're just showing. It was pretty remarkable watching all this stuff over the weekend and this morning. The way that they were stopping cars, you know, without notice. I mean, they're not checking for car tags. They're not checking license and registration. They're not doing insurance busts. They were checking trunks and everything to make sure his ass wasn't being hauled around by anybody. Isn't that crazy?
Yes, it is. It's a lot crazy. You know, but that's what they do when there's a manhunt. I mean,
They have to.
I just wonder how he. Well, I mean, I think we all know how he got. He had so many resources there where he was at, and that's why he didn't leave. And that was the problem. You know, I figured if he, you know, I just don't understand. You know, the word. So here's the thing: if you're wanted in a state, wouldn't it be the idea to get out of there?
He's an idiot. He's an idiot.
Well, you know, I wonder if he had. Well, okay, so he still had that communication. I wonder if they didn't tap his phone and hit his location with that. Like make a phone call and hand me a phone it back to me.
Yeah, all the above. That's how they knew all those people that were helping him. All right,
Bingo.
This was put up by TBI right there. Oh, look at him. Look at him. They snatched his ass and he changed clothes. He's not in the camo anymore. Can you guys see the screen? This is his capture picture.
No, that's the jacket. That's a sheriff's jacket they put on him. See the buttons on it? See the collar?
Oh, it looked like a hoodie to me. Sorry.
No. That's the actual. That's what they do. That's the cover up they used. That's a jacket. That's a sheriff's jacket or something.
Hello, everyone.
They put on him there. See the collar hat goes over.
The time is 9:30, and shortly after 9 o'clock this morning, we learned from authorities that they have successfully captured murder suspect Austin Robert Drummond, who is wanted in the connection of a quadruple homicide. We have our news team standing by at Country Club Lane and Express Drive here in Jackson, where it happened. So let's go ahead and check in with Brian Hodges, who is live at the scene. Ryan, what can you tell us?
Yes, we're over here at the corner of Country Club Lane and Express Drive. This is developing breaking news as Austin Drummond has been arrested. That is confirmed that Austin Drummond has been arrested. I'm going to step away so that you can see what is behind us. That is the entrance of Country Club Lane. Residents have told us that both entrances to Country Club Lane have been completely closed off and they are not allowed to go in there. In fact, one of the residents was saying that she wasn't allowed to go over to her house. It appears that many of the law enforcement agencies are going over to Windwood Drive. That's where they're coming in and out of. The resident who lives around that area said that they were able to catch Drummond in the woods around that space. So again, Country Club Lane is completely closed off, both sides of the entrance of Country Club Lane. You cannot go in or out of that area. Residents have told us that they were told they have to wait before.
Does anyone live near Country Club Lane? If so, you dodged a bullet. Okay? You really did. That is some scary ass shit right there.
Going over to their houses, and Austin Drummond has been arrested around the Windwood Drive area. That is where most of the law enforcement agencies that we have seen have been coming in and out of from many different agencies, whether that be Tennessee Highway Patrol, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, Jackson Police Department, or Madison County Sheriff's Office. All morning, we have seen dozens of law enforcement officials coming in and out of this area, blocking off different roads like Pipkin Drive. They were blocking that off yesterday. They're blocking that road off again. We were able to see law enforcement officers with rifles in hand blocking off those roads. Again, Austin Drummond confirmed he has been captured this morning, Tuesday morning, over off of Country Club Lane around the Windwood Drive area. That is what I'm seeing. We're going to continue to give you some details as we learn more of it. Until now, in Jackson, Ryan Hodges, WBBJ7 Eyewitness News.
Again, thank you, Ryan, for that update. And for those of you who are just tuning in, Austin Robert Drummond is in police custody. He's a 29-year-old suspect wanted in connection with the 4 homicides in West Tennessee. And we will continue to update you as more information becomes available.
Okay, so that's it for that. Now we'll go to this.
And in custody, this. We are coming in on the stream right now with some breaking news. Austin Drummond, the accused killer of 4 people in Lake County, has been taken into custody. I'm Kevin McDermott with Amon Cooper. Amon.
Yeah, authorities in Jackson, Tennessee have now announced this morning that they have captured Drummond, ending a nearly week-long manhunt after a family of 4 was killed and a baby was left in someone's yard. We do have a crew en route to the scene right now to gather more details about this developing story that we're learning about in real time.
Yes, this is certainly a case that has attracted a lot of interest, not just here in the Mid-South, but across the country. Here we've got a photo of Drummond now that we're showing. Yes, this is a look at the mugshot they were putting out there. Remember, this is a situation that kicked off just about a week ago with initially, you may remember, they found the baby on the lawn of someone's home down in the Jackson area, or closer to the Jackson area.
Yes.
They were trying to figure out what was going on, how that baby got there. And it was later that day that they...
Here's a better picture of his capture. Look at that. Here's a better picture of it. Look at that. Yeah, it's a hoodie. They didn't redress his ass in the woods. He's got on a hoodie. So he changed his clothes. That's okay. Really doesn't matter. But look at that. Woo. Woo. Look at that. Well, I tell you what, if looks could kill, they don't look happy with him at all. No. Nope. And again, his nasty ass should have never been out of jail in the first place. He is mean as a snake. Now, I know a lot of people are saying that they think that he spared the baby. Well, one theory is constantly, well, the baby can't talk. Well, but he's a mean motherfucker. He doesn't really care. But they say, well, maybe he had a crisis of conscience because he knows he's about to be a daddy because Caitlin's pregnant. Yeah, there they are with their pregnancy pictures. You know what? And just watch her dumbass take that baby up to the prison to see the daddy. Okay? He's going to get the DP for this. Tennessee's not going to play with his ass. They just are not going to play with this piece of shit.
Located those 4 bodies.
Absolutely. So the baby was found in Dyer County. The 4 victims were found in Lake County. We also know that those 4 victims are all related. They're family members. Let's remember them right now as we talk about this case. James M. Wilson was 21 years old. Adriana Williams was 20 years old. Courtney Rose, 38 years old. And Braden Williams was just 15 years old. And police are saying that Drummond is a suspect and connected to their deaths and the disappearance or the drop-off of that baby in Dyer.
For those of you that can get court records in Tennessee, I don't know what website you use. I'm dying to see that probable cause affidavit. I'm dying to see it. Keister Bunny said, nope. It's gang rules. Don't touch the babies. Don't touch the babies. Okay, I did not know that. I don't know gang rules. Since we're all in a gang here, I guess we need to make our own rules. Baby Kisses said, a 15-year-old boy to me is still a baby. Better believe it. Hot Mess said, will he face the death penalty if guilty? According to Nick Barris, yeah. According to Nick Barris, absolutely.
Dyer County.
It's just a real tragedy, and you're right to put the focus on those victims right now here as we're still in these early stages. Again, Austin Drummond has been located in Jackson, Tennessee. Maybe to some surprise here a week later, there was thought authorities had announced earlier in the week that they had reason to believe he had left West Tennessee. Don't know if they got new information that changed, but obviously that was not the case. And he is in fact back around and in custody. This nightmare really for this whole region finally coming to some sort of close right now.
Absolutely. Now that he is back and in custody. What we can tell you too is that police released surveillance video just a few days ago showing Drummond, or a man believed to be him, actually in the Jacksonville area where that video was taken. Actually,
he does look like Ed Norton. DT Driver said he looks like Ed Norton. Well, we know when this hits Netflix, because this is going to be a movie. This is going to be a movie. Gangs, drugs, sex in the jail, correctional officer that gets him out, gets pregnant by him. Yeah, Edward Norton, he's got his work cut out for him.
From a church nearby. And so people and police were asking everyone to lock up their garages and their sheds, to close their doors and to shelter in place. We just got that issue and alert a few minutes ago when this arrest was being made.
Right, and keep in mind that this was happening at the same time school was coming back for a lot of those families, and you've got
Okay, I changed the title. I don't know if it showed up on your end yet, to Captured. So people are coming in asking, has he been caught? Yeah, look at him. Look at that. Look at your screen. Look at that thing. And he's armed. It's a wonder we didn't have unaliving by cop. I figured he would go down with a bang, a big bang. B. Harley is a Ed Norton fan. She said, don't do Ed like that. He'd be perfect for the part too. Remember him in that movie, Primal Fear? And of course there's Fight Club and Primal Fear with Richard Gere. Woo! Woo! He should have got an Oscar for that. Yeah, he should have. That's a great movie.
Accused mass murderer walking around, showing to have a weapon in that surveillance video you're referencing. I'm sure we'll get that up there on the screen for you shortly. A lot of heartache and a lot of the terror, frankly, for a lot of those families.
Absolutely.
It's scary to think about. And remember, for other people, put in custody now as well. I understand we've got some video then we can show right now of the, I believe of that surveillance video of Drummond walking around. There it is on your screen. This was just from the other night. You can see he's got a weapon there, just sort of wandering up. I mean, eerie to think that someone like that is walking around in a neighborhood.
Yeah, police told us that he was described with having a rifle. He had a brown backpack, that he was dressed in camouflage clothing, but that also this video, it's important to note, was time-stamped for Sunday, August 3rd of 2025 at around 11 o'clock that night. Again, this is video that came given to us by Jackson Police, but it was actually from a nearby church in the area.
Yeah, and again, as I said, they thought.
Peaceful Warrior said, I can't wrap my head around the fact that he's 29. Good Lord, he looks 40. Well, that, you know, the devil will do that to you. The devil will do that to you. Cinnamon Hot Hot said, he reminds me of Tommy Lee Jones and Gary Gilmore. I guess that shows my age. And yeah, he'll be tried in Lake County. That's where the crimes occurred.
He was perhaps out of the area as this manhunt has gone on for several days, but clearly that was not the case. We had a huge law enforcement presence there in the Jackson area yesterday as well, looking for Drummond. There was some thought perhaps they had located him yesterday on Monday. They did not, but today, again, we can say accused quadruple killer Austin Drummond has been found, and he is in custody, really hopefully putting an end to this stage of the hunt for justice now, which really gets in earnest for that family.
Yes, we still have a lot of ways to go within this investigation and within this case. But this, again, as Kevin is mentioning, is a very big first step. What we also can tell you is that we are still asking questions of police. We do have a crew on the way to the scene right now. The TBI is also preparing for a press conference that we will air in its entirety later on this afternoon. We do now have his arrest photo. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. This will give us a clearer picture of maybe the state he was in while he was arrested. This photo from the TBI of Austin Drummond.
That is certainly an eerie thing to take a look at. There was certainly some wondering if he was going to be able to be taken alive, as we saw him walking around with that weapon, certainly primed for some kind of confrontation. But it's good news in terms of getting greater justice and maybe a little more clarity about what may have happened or occurred. That's really the ultimate question right now. You don't want to get too much into the speculation, but obviously when you have a quadruple murder, there's a lot of questions that are going to be asked as to how exactly that situation could come to play. I mean, we could talk about the history of Drummond that has been certainly out in the open, out in public. He was arrested previously as a teenager for an armed robbery back in 2013 when he was, again, just a teenager, was sentenced to about 12, 13 years in prison, got out after about a decade just last year. He'd only been a free man for, I don't know, maybe 10 months or so. And now this incident, it certainly raises a lot of questions about, you know, what rehabilitating was really going on.
Yeah.
They didn't rehabilitate his ass. He was committing crimes while behind bars. Like the morning said, imagine how bad he smells. That's what I'm talking about. It'd take a fire hose to get all that stench off that nasty bastard. Look at that. Look at that. And let me tell you what, they're going to lock his ass down. There'll be no more contraband brought to him. And I want to know why Caitlin is not in jail for bringing him all that contraband when he was locked up. I want to know why Courtney wasn't in jail. Yes, I understand Courtney is no longer amongst the living and that she has been murdered, but I want to know why she wasn't in jail for being part of this gang. I want to know why Matthew wasn't. If they had been kept in jail, this is a huge failure by the Department of Corrections, and it happens in every state. Okay? I'm not picking on Tennessee. Remember old Jesse McFadden in Oklahoma? And because he scrubbed his ass good enough, he only had to serve like 80% of his rape charge, and they let his ass out. It happens in every state. There's too many cooks in the kitchen. Way too many. Too many chiefs, not enough Indians. Terry said, I think they have Caitlin right now in protective custody. That's what I've been hearing. That's what I've been hearing. I bet they had her phone tapped. I guarantee they wanted to make sure he didn't reach out to her.
And what really happened that sparked this whole thing to begin with? We have so many unanswered questions that hopefully we'll find some clarity and some answers to in just a little bit as the investigation now enters into this new phase. What we also can say, too, is that we're working to learn how this arrest was made. We're not sure if a tip led up to this arrest.
That's exactly.
We're not sure if police just stumbled upon him, if someone called them to go and look at someone that was suspicious in the area. We're not sure of those details yet, but we do know that there was a $32,000 reward for his capture.
Yeah.
We'll wait to get information to see if anybody will receive that, if it was a tip that brought investigators to Drummond.
Yeah, certainly there's been a lot of interest in financial incentive as well to locate Drummond. But as we saw the massive SWAT and law enforcement presence throughout this week, there was certainly a lot of resources on display and being put to capturing Drummond. But there are 4 other people who were now in jail and have been arrested, accused of helping Drummond avoid capture. 4 different people who are accused to be accessories after the fact, as terminology goes. They are Tanaka Brown, Giovante Thomas, Brandon Powell, and De'Ara Sanders. Now, Thomas is in the Madison County Jail. Unrelated charge. You're seeing them now on your screen. Of course, Drummond on the left. Thomas in the Madison County Jail on an unrelated charge. He'll be transferred to the Lake County Jail. He and Powell will be in court on Thursday.
Losers. Losers. Let's look at their court hearing yesterday, shall we? Is that the one? I think so. Yeah, this is ABC Memphis. Okay.
Facing charges as Drummond's accused accomplices appeared in district court in Lake County today. ABC 24's camera was the only one to capture the hearing. ABC 24's Desmond Nugent continues our team coverage with.
Yeah, just so Nick in Spokane, Washington knows, I was not in the courtroom. This is ABC Memphis. The girl with the awesome outfit on already said they were the only ones that were allowed in the courtroom.
More on what happened in court.
Lake County District Attorney Danny Goodman tells me Darius Sanders and Brandon Powell are the 2 new suspects named with helping Austin Drummond. He tells me this just goes to show that Drummond is well connected.
During the course of the investigation, it was determined that Mr. Tanaka Brown
4 to 21 years. That's how much prison time Tanaka Brown is facing if convicted. He's the man charged with tampering with evidence and accessory after the fact for his involvement with Austin Drummond. Drummond is facing 4 counts of first-degree murder and a kidnapping charge for last week's deadly murders of 4 people found along Carrington Road in Tiptonville, including abandoning a baby.
And I just think that it shows he has a lot of connections, lots of friends who are willing to do what they have to help him.
Yeah, that goes without saying. That definitely goes without saying. Look at these freaking losers. Like they had nothing to do on a Tuesday than help a gang dude get away, well, with murder and abandon a baby.
Brown wasn't the only suspect and Jackson, Tennessee native in court on Monday. Darius Sanders is also being charged with accessory after the fact.
She looks mean. She looks mean.
She could be serving 1 to 6 years in prison.
She don't look happy to be there. She's shaking her head no and everything like that. Yeah, she doesn't look happy to be there at all.
Goodman says authorities named her as a suspect early Monday morning.
I think was placed in custody probably somewhere around 5 a.m. And the only information I can give at this time is that she's gave some assistance afterwards.
Brandon Powell is the other new suspect Goodman mentioned after Monday's hearing for Sanders and Brown. Powell is being charged with possession of Schedule 6 drugs and criminal conspiracy. Both Sanders and Brown have a $250,000 bond.
It's for the safety of the community.
Giovanni.
And to take his help away. And to take his help away. Now, we know that the Department of Corrections in every state screws the pooch. All right. So when they're talking about these sentences, 4 to 21, 1 to 6, they might get these people to turn state's witness and say, listen, I'll let you out on probation because we want Austin to go down for everything. We're willing to look the other way for what you did to help your buddy. Okay. We're going to pretend like you didn't know he just killed 4 people. You, though, have to testify against him because we want to fry him. You understand? We want to fry him. And we will always have our eyes on you.
Thomas is looking at similar charges as Brown and Sanders, accessory after the fact. He will be transferred from the Madison County Jail on an unrelated charge to the Lake County Jail, where he will be in court August 7th. Powell will also be in court on August 7th. Brown is expected to return here at Lake County District Court for a source hearing on August 14th. In Tiptonville, I'm Desmond Nugent, ABC 24 News.
Damn. Here's one guy that was describing, this is from WREG News. He was describing what was going on in his neighborhood when they were shaking the shit out of everybody to try to find him. Stopping cars, going through apartments. This guy, man, he tells it like it is. Okay? He should narrate audiobooks. He's kind of like that guy in Rochester, New York that saw the cougar and he just kept going, row, row.
And tonight, we're hearing from people living in Jackson, Tennessee, after 2 men from there were arrested accused of helping Austin Drummond after investigators say he killed a family of 4. Hi there. Thanks for being with us tonight. I'm Shay Arthur. Drummond has been on the run for days now. Although his car was found in a Jackson, Tennessee neighborhood Friday, he is yet to be located. WRG's Raven Copeland spoke to neighbors about the latest developments in the case and the days-long search for a man accused of violent crimes.
As the search continues for quadruple murder suspect Austin Drummond, the TBI has charged 2 men for allegedly helping Drummond after he committed the crimes. Saturday, Giovanni Thomas and Tanaka Brown were both charged with accessory to first-degree murder after the fact. Brown is also charged with evidence tampering. At this time, the TBI has not explained how investigators believe the suspects were involved after Drummond is accused of committing the violence.
Thought that was crazy how you could, harbor somebody, that just basically, I guess, killed him.
He didn't want to be on camera. But anyway, you get the point. I don't know what's up with the gloves, but hey, I don't know.
Committing the violence.
Thought that was crazy how you could, harbor somebody, that just basically, I guess, killed his family or whatever that case was. But I thought that was insane.
The TBI says Drummond has known ties in Jackson, and on Friday, his white 2016 Audi was found in a neighborhood there. A neighbor who did not want to be on camera described what he saw.
I was like maybe 40 to 50 cops, 2 helicopters flying around real low, searching the woods, had the neighborhood blocked off. Later on, while I was here, a couple of them went around the corner. I guess it presumed to be his mom's house or somebody. And they had it surrounded, and they were on the PA saying we had the house surrounded, come out. Helicopters were lower, and it was crazy.
Neighbors told.
Listen to that again. That's his mom and daddy's house. We got your house surrounded. Come out now.
40 to 50 cops, 2 helicopters flying around real low, searching the woods, had the neighborhood blocked off. Later on, while I was here, A couple of them went around the corner. I guess it presumed to be his mom's house or somebody, and they had it surrounded, and they were on the PA saying we had the house surrounded, come out. Helicopters were lower, and it was crazy.
Neighbors told WREG that they think Drummond was in the wooded area where his car was found. However, they say he could have ended up on one of the trails that can lead to other places.
And you can go left or right. He could have ended up on the
And he was found on a trail.
The other side of Interstate 40 or going towards Christmasville.
Drummond has been on the run since Tuesday, July 29th. Law enforcement says he is considered armed and dangerous. And do you have any concerns? You know, his car was last seen here. He has had some sightings here. Do you have any concerns with him still being on the run?
In this neighborhood, not really. I know, or I'm armed to the teeth.
I'm armed to the teeth. So I want him to know, Austin, if you were listening at the time before you were captured, this guy was saying in this neighborhood, nah, I'm armed to the teeth, he said. I love that. Okay, I love that.
Has had some sightings here. Do you have any concerns with him still being on the run?
In this neighborhood, not really. I know, or I'm armed to the teeth. I just want you to know that. But this neighborhood, I think pretty much everybody's the same way over here.
Reporting from Jackson, Tennessee, for your news leader, Raven Copeland, WREG News Channel 3.
Jeff Smith said, why is he wearing disposable gloves? Maybe he's a chef. I don't know. A chef that's armed to the teeth. I don't know. No idea. B. Harley, we had a question in chat. So what do you think triggered all this? B. Harley said drugs. I think it could be drugs. I think it could be because Courtney and Matthew were about to testify against him. He knew one way or another he was getting ready to go back to jail because he had committed so many crimes behind bars. Roxy said, what about Caitlin? Was she with him? No, they're saying she's being protected by the police. She's in protective custody. And I don't know if you saw this little gem. This is their pregnancy picture. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. That poor baby. Because we know Caitlin does not make wise decisions, okay? Let's face it. She does not make wise decisions. She does not have what you would call really good judgment. I wouldn't be surprised once things kind of loosen up for him if she doesn't bring that baby to the jail to see the baby's daddy. Okay? She had her other child around him. And that's what pissed off Cade Butler so bad. He's been on their asses for almost a year. Yeah, there you go. There they are holding the belly. She's even got her daughter in the picture. Look at us. We're expecting. We're expecting. Well, he doesn't look like he was expecting that because they yanked his nasty ass right out of the woods and said, you go into the big house. And this time you're not going to have any vodka. You're not going to have any cell phones. You're not going to have any booty calls from a correctional officer named Caitlin. Your ass is getting locked up. Does anybody know what time the press conference is? They said later this afternoon because I want to get ready for that. So you guys make sure you're reminded because we're going to watch it together.
Sanders is also being charged with accessory after the fact. If convicted, she could serve up to 6 years in prison. Brown's bond has been set at $250,000, and he is still in custody. I mean, when you have 4 people like that arrested, it certainly lends a little more credence as to how Drummond was able to evade capture here for close to a week.
Yes, this is day 6 of that search. And it's obvious to see with the other people that have been arrested in connection to this case, it's likely to say that Drummond had some kind of help, and support. And that's what police are alluding with these other charges and with these other people that are now connected to this case. We do want to go ahead and bring in our Leah Williams, who is also live in studio with us to talk about this timeline of how we got here. Leah.
Deb No Name said, gotta wonder what started it all. At this point, all we can do is speculate. We know that Courtney was in the gang. We know that Matthew was in the gang. We know that drugs were being taken to the prison. We also know that Austin was in the gang. Okay. We know that. So there was an issue with some inheritance. I don't see Austin really getting into some old lady's house and saying, oh no, when they sell it, Caitlin better get her part. I think it might have had a little more to do with Courtney and Matthew possibly going to testify against Austin. Maybe Matthew was trying to get out of the gang. I don't know. But this press conference is going to be very interesting today. So you guys make sure you hit your reminder. Okay.
Yes, Yvonne, this was a very unique case and kind of odd case. So we want to take you back through on how all of this.
Cinnamon Hot said, I think Exotic Ernie made a beeline to the press conference. Yeah, Ernie, where are you? You missed out on the 32,000. Shit, man. I was hoping you'd get him today.
It all started last week. The Dyer County Sheriff's Office made a post on Facebook asking for help identifying an abandoned baby. Deputies found that baby around 3 o'clock last Tuesday afternoon after that call that someone saw them drop off the baby in a dark minivan in a car seat, and the baby was left on someone's front yard, and then the car took off. So this was at a stranger's house on Old Highway 20 near the Tigard area. And about an hour later, the department updated the post saying they did identify the baby. They also named Courtney Rose, Matthew Wilson, and Adriana Williams, who we now know were victims in this case, as 3 people they wanted to question about that abandoned baby. Now, later in the evening, the Dyer County Sheriff's Office announced that the baby was a part of the case in Lake County. So again, this was a multi-agency, multi-county investigation. So investigators found 4 people dead on Carrington Road in Tiptonville. Wednesday morning, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation identified those victims, again, as James Wilson, Braden Williams, Courtney Rose, and Adriana Williams. The TBI confirmed that all of these people were related to the baby. And then on Thursday, the TBI identified Austin Drummond, who they've been searching for days now, as the suspect on this case. He was on Tennessee's most wanted list, and there was a large reward for his capture. But again, he is in custody this morning. They found him earlier this morning. We don't have the details yet on how he was taken into custody or even how he was found. But again, Austin Drummond is in custody. Kevin, Yvonne.
Thank you for that, Leah. Yeah, certainly still a lot of things we're trying to learn here, and we'll continue to find out. We'll be on here for quite a while, gathering as much information as we possibly can. Certainly, I think the big question right now, again, as we were just talking about, what led to this quadruple murder?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's kind of hard to fathom that someone could do something like this. Certainly, especially someone who clearly, had friends in the community, had people that were willing and able to give him assistance after something like this occurring. It kind of, it scares you a little bit.
It does. I mean, this community, 2 different communities really, in Lake County and in Dyer County and in Jackson, people have been very concerned about this case and about what it's done to the community, just heightened the fear of so many people that have been there just trying to wrap their minds about not only the tragedy, but the fact that a man accused of these crimes.
Hold on. Like the morning said, Brooks. So you're saying the people that were victims were also in the gang? Yeah, Courtney and Matthew. Well, some people call him James. Matthew, the baby's father. Yeah, they were too. They were supposed to testify against Austin. For what? I don't know. But like I said, the probable cause, it's going to be a big one. Okay? It's going to be a big one. And the press conference is going to explain a lot. Because the big question is, unless they get forensics back real damn fast, how did they know it was Austin? Because it didn't take them long to name him a suspect and say, we got to find him now.
Still on the streets. So we still have a lot more questions, especially like you were mentioning, Kevin. Why did this happen to begin with? How are all of these people connected? We are waiting still to get all of that on record. We know that the 4 victims are family members, but getting police to connect the dots with how Drummond knew them, if he knew them, how that all happened and worked.
Yeah, there's a complicated web that investigators certainly are still trying to work through at this time.
Great comment in the ditch. Great comment. Says, I don't believe Caitlin didn't know how much of a piece of shit he is. For fuck's sake. The DA told the parole board how dangerous he is and not to let him out. He's not the beaver cleaver the family claims he is. Yeah. When that sister-in-law posted all that and said, we just never thought he would do this. He was great to us. He dated Caitlin. And I was like, what? You kind of sound like you're sympathizing with him. Nobody should have been that shocked. Miss North said, why would Grandma and Matthew be the only ones in the gang? Oh, I think there was a lot of people in the gang. But I mean, as far as the victims, those 2 were in the gang.
Talking about multiple crime scenes, multiple vehicles that were found. Some were taken. I believe one was found with bullet holes. It was taken back earlier. This was, when this investigation first got going. How he was able to get back from Lake County to Jackson. Is that where some of these other arrests came in? Or someone?
What an idiot. Who goes and annihilates a whole family and then goes back to your hometown? What an idiot. Why didn't he just go ahead and turn himself in? You might as well. He walked right into him.
Was helping him get around because, it's unclear how any of the movements still at this time. To your point, we're still working to get a lot of those questions answered from investigators. Certainly they'll have more of an update for us later in the afternoon. But the big headline right there, Austin Drummond, accused quadruple murderer out of Dyer County, has been captured. And he is in custody. You can see that photo right there. Certainly looks like he was someone that was perhaps living out in the woods out there. I don't know. Don't want to speculate too much. But the good news is he is no longer literally walking the streets, through dead of night.
Absolutely. This is a photo.
Stinky, walk in the woods. A lot of people, the weather has been nice. Okay. We've had kind of a cool front, It scares the bejesus out of me to think how many, almost like Devil's Den, people that are just minding their own business, walking the trail, could have come across him.
From the TBI. This is the most recent photo that we have received this morning after the arrest and capture of Austin Drummond. But again, this story has just really paralleled and spanned so many neighborhoods, so many communities, so many people and families that have been on edge, waiting for police to make an arrest in a person they believed is connected to that quadruple homicide and the abandoned baby. All right, our crew that has been en route to the scene, they'll be there in about 15 to 20 minutes. We've just been told by our producers. And so it'll be a good idea for us to see the scene from their point of view and from their perspective. We know that a lot.
And then Wilson and Williams were speculated in a relationship there. It's just heartbreaking to think about like this.
Yeah, it is. And just know, especially you could see on the graphic that was on your screen, this was a very complicated, wide investigation.
These weeks, they'll be able to be a little more forthcoming with what they know and what they've been able to piece together so far at this time. I understand last week, again, in Lake County, officials with TBI found 4 bodies along Carrington Road in Tiptonville. We're saying these names again: 21-year-old James Wilson, 20-year-old Adriana Williams, 38-year-old Courtney Rose, 15-year-old Braden Williams, and that all one family. Courtney Rose, actually the grandma there of the baby that was found. Braden Williams, I believe her nephew, and then Wilson and Williams were speculated being a relationship there. It's just heartbreaking to think about like this.
Yeah, it is. And just know, especially you could see on the graphic that was on your screen, this was a very complicated, wide investigation that involved multiple agencies in Lake County, Dyer County, the TBI, and the FBI. All were helping to figure this out, to solve this, and even Jackson Police as well.
Yeah.
So you have 5 or 6 different agencies that were working to figure out where Drummond was, to identify him first, then to figure out where he was and to bring him into custody, which they did today.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the questions that I haven't seen to be answered specifically, is how they were able to zero in on Drummond as the suspect, relatively quickly. That news came out within a day that they knew Drummond was the man that they were certainly looking for. Again, alleged here still at this time, but that question I would be curious to find out about. What makes them so certain that Drummond is the person that they want to look for,
Agreed.
There's a lot of questions that still have to be answered, and we do have a reporter there on the scene, which we'll be getting to him momentarily. He'll be able to give us that live picture of the scene. Again, just on Wednesday, the last time Drummond was seen in Jackson, that just last week up until these few days ago. He was believed to have been driving a damaged white 2016 Audi at the time. This is a look at a map there of the wide area of that manhunt. You can get a sense of kind of the resources that have been deployed here to try and locate Drummond. Again, as you mentioned, Yvonne, multi-state effort, TBI, you've got national federal police involved. You don't see that too often. That should certainly give you some sense of the scope of not just the investigation, but the crime that we're dealing with here. Again, very significant situation. They were able to confirm, again, the connection between the baby that was found and the...
So, you see at the top, that's where the bodies were found. Northern Lake County. Then, outside of Caruthersville, which is right on the border, is where they found the Ford pickup truck. The infant was dropped off, Westland, was dropped off on Old Highway 20. And then they found the white Audi in Madison County. Okay, let's look at this. This guy is coming unglued. He's saying quadruple murder suspect Austin Drummond's lavish life behind bars included alcohol and TV streaming. Really?
I think there was a measure of both irresponsibility, neglect, and probably some recklessness as well in relation to not just the wardens, but the senior management staff.
Yes, Carolyn, it's true. He was caught.
The captains, the deputy wardens, the lieutenants, and if there's a sergeant structure in the Tennessee State prison system, I don't know offhand, but the reality is they're supposed to have very frequent checks of the cells. They call them shakedowns. They shake down a cell, make sure there's no drugs in there or any contraband. That's part of their policy and protocol in the state prison system, as well as the federal prison system, which is probably more stringent, if I had to speculate from the knowledge I have relating to that. But the reality is that getting contraband in has been a timeless concern for management and leadership in the bureaus of prisons, both in the state and the federal system, because there's a lot of ways to compromise. There's a lot of prospective leaks. There's attorneys who come in. There's visitors who come in. There's laundry trucks that come in. There's guards who have been compromised, correction officials who have been compromised and bribed historically. Don't know that that was the fact pattern here. In fact, to my knowledge, there is not an official investigative report, interim or final, as it relates to how this quadruple murder suspect was able to have so much contraband in his cell, including alcohol, Roku, all manner of items that you shared on the photos and I discovered in the criminal complaint, right? The actual complaint that's filed. So there could have been multiple leaks, could have been multiple ways for the contraband to physically get into his cell, which has been happening since the beginning of time. Al Capone, I happen to have a framed photograph of his federal cell back in the 30s. And he had a fancy sofa in there. He had a fancy reading light and a lamp and you know, the accoutrements of that time period, not Roku, you know, not a pizza delivery, but whatever represented relative luxury was in his cell. And that was 100 years ago. So it's been going on since time immemorial. But the way it is mitigated, the way that it's, you know, minimized, don't know if it ever could be eliminated because some items are microscopic that come in, drugs, for instance, is through the shakedowns, through a steady process, protocol, and procedure as it relates to very frequent cell shakedowns, cell turnovers, where basically the officers come in with a supervisor, usually a lieutenant, and they come in and they take the cell apart and they make sure that nothing's hidden in there. Now that presupposes and precludes the obvious, which is if the correction officers are involved in this.
Well, we know one was. We know Caitlin was involved. Hell, they were getting DoorDash to the freak in jail and bringing him pizza. Freaking DoorDash.
In some way, if they've been compromised in any capacity, whether by money or any other horse trading that does occur in the correction system, that of course negates the value of the searches because they're not really searching. And historically, it has been that avenue, the avenue of corrupt corrections officials and officers and leadership who have allowed, turned a blind eye, or tacitly contributed in some ways to the contraband landing in the cell. So it's a tough task. It's a tough job. It's a very tough job, corrections job. But this is a very common incident, even in the extreme, which is this matter at hand.
Nuts deluxe. Nuts deluxe. Tarina said, you think Caitlin will be charged with anything since she was doing all that at her job? I know it's a big charge. She should be. She should be. But I don't know. I really don't. Jay said, what? They turning a prison into the Motel 6? Oh, yeah, the No-Tell Motel. Look at Caitlin in there shagging ass with Austin when he's locked up for armed robbery and threatening to kill the jurors that were on his case. She'll be back. She's having his baby. Don't think her ass isn't going to show up to the prison someday and say, here's your baby. Oh, here's your baby. Disgusting. Disgusting. And you know what? If he is that ingrained with this gang, he'll be fine in jail. He'll be fine. He'll take to jail like a duck to water.
Because when you're talking about a crime of this magnitude, he's going to be looking at a very severe penalty from the state, and there's going to be a lot of efforts on the behalf of him and his legal team to try and extend the process as much as possible, make it muddy the waters, if you will, to try and extend his own time that he's going to have, potentially not having to come to a decision being made on the sentencing one way or the other. This is in the end, today marks the end of one chapter of this, but the beginning of one that's unfortunately going to be far longer. But at least for some of the family members and the community there, they get a little bit of closure knowing that he's no longer going to be on the loose and walking the streets.
And know that we'll be following this case throughout multiple cities and multiple counties. It is possible that he's charged with different crimes in different counties, talking about Dyer, talking about Lake, but also the city of Jackson. It is possible that there will be charges ranging in different areas for different things.
Yeah, it's a very complicated case just from the logistical perspective. You've got multiple crime scenes, multiple vehicles involved, multiple after-the-fact accomplices. What's now going to happen with those cases here now that Drummond has also been brought into custody? Those proceedings will also be going along at the same time. they're going to be making all as many efforts as possible to, either give it what information they have or not.
That picture. Oh, a picture speaks 1,000 words. Seriously, caption this picture. Caption this picture. All I see on his face is, oh, fuck. That's all I see. Oh, fuck. They got me. They got me. I think she means that the gang is all different races. I don't think she means that Wonder Bread here is mixed with anything except for the devil.
If they so choose, on Drummond and both his whereabouts through this nearly week-long process. But the bigger questions that investigators will be trying to get to, which is, why did this occur? I mean, especially if it does, in fact, Drummond had a previous relationship with that family and knew them, what exactly led up to such a gruesome alleged killing?
Yeah. An awful scene in Dyer and in Lake County. All right, to help us process all of this, Desmond Nugent is live in the field, but Leah Williams is live in studio to really walk us through exactly what happened in the days leading up to this arrest. Leah.
Yvonne, there are still so many questions in this case, and hopefully we can get some more answers later, but it could be a while since this is such a large investigation spanning multiple counties. We do want a recap of timeline of where all of the events began in Dyer County. That was on Tuesday, and the sheriff's office received a call shortly after 3 p.m., and they were told that a car dropped off a baby in a car seat at a front yard on Old Highway 20. So I want you to look here. This is Dyer County right here. And this is the area where the infant was dropped off. So then investigators started looking for that baby's family and soon learned that 4 relatives hadn't been seen since the night before. That's according to the district attorney, Danny Goodman. So later in the evening in Lake County, officials with the TBI said 4 bodies were found along Carrington Road. That's up here in Lake County. So this is Dyer County where the baby was, and then Lake County is where the 4 bodies were found. The victims were identified as 21-year-old James Wilson, 20-year-old Adriana Williams, 38-year-old Courtney Rose, and 15-year-old Braden Williams. Following the discovery of those victims, the Lake County, which is again up here, and then the Dyer County Sheriff's offices requested assistance from both the FBI and the TBI. You don't normally see the FBI take over these cases, so that's a very big deal that they asked for that assistance. So then on Wednesday, which was July 30th, Drummond was seen in Jackson, Tennessee. Investigators say he was believed to have been driving a damaged white 2016 Audi. That car has been recovered. It was found unoccupied over the weekend. On Thursday, the TBI confirmed the connection between the baby's abandonment and the victims as they say the search for Austin Drummond continued. James Wilson and Adriana Williams were confirmed to be the baby's parents. Now, the baby is okay right now, and Rose and Adriana Wilson was Braden Williams' mother, according to Goodman. Now, he also says all 4 victims lived in the Dyer County area. On Friday, several local and federal authorities held a press conference in Jackson, Tennessee, emphasizing that Drummond was still out on the loose, and he had been seen in that area again on Wednesday. So later in the afternoon, the white Audi was found again unoccupied, and that was on Mick-O Road in Jackson, right next to a neighborhood. So continuing this weekend, Saturday, the TBI confirmed that they found a white 1988 Ford pickup truck, and this was here kind of.
Carolyn, I don't know where you're getting this information. His parents are white. And I don't care if he's purple, pink, or polka dotted. He's a piece of shit. And so is everybody in that gang. Every one of them.
Right between Lake and Dyer counties. So it had a red stripe near Burnt Mill Road, and that was in Dyersburg. So multiple counties involved in this investigation. I want to turn things back over to you, though, Kevin and Yvonne.
All right. Thank you for that, Leah. We're still getting as much information as we can at this hour. We've got our reporter, Desmond Nugent, there on the scene. I'm sure we'll be going back to him here shortly, but we're still just taking stock of this whole situation. Closing one chapter, just in this last week, but beginning another.
Yes, absolutely. And we are still waiting on information. We believe that the TBI will host a press conference sometime today, whether it's this morning or this afternoon, or maybe even this evening, after they have gathered all the information that they can share with us at this time. Because again, Drummond has been arrested, but the case is still ongoing. The investigation is still ongoing. And now there's another scene to process, the scene in which he was captured. So still a lot of moving pieces here.
That's actually a great point, Yvonne, because now they're going to be able to retrace his movements a little bit better throughout this past week. There's probably going to end up being multiple areas that's both either in the public or in private areas where Drummond will be found to have been staying just over the course of the last week. You know, how was he getting food, right? Or maybe he wasn't, I suppose. What exactly has been taking place over the course of this last week is a new question that investigators will certainly be needing to answer, and those questions will be asked. To your point, yeah, we do anticipate there being some kind of press conference with a little more information as far as what they know, how they were able to zero in on Drummond as a suspect, any information besides what was publicly released that led to his capture. Our reporter Desmond Nugent was there in court yesterday there for some of the accomplices, and they're saying we're going back live to him now. He's there nearby in Jackson where Drummond was captured. Okay, we've got his story from yesterday, on what exactly is going on in those court cases with the accomplices.
Lake County District Attorney Danny Goodman tells me Darius Sanders.
Okay, we've already seen that. All right, so I do not know if they're having a press conference today. I really thought at 9:30 this morning was going to be the press conference. I thought they would be that fast, just to let everybody in the area know that, hey, it's okay. Take a deep breath. But like the news reporter was saying, they have a lot to process right now. They have a lot of paperwork to do. They have a lot of forensics to pick up out in the woods. They got to retrace all his steps, how he got from Lake County to Madison County. There's a lot they got going on. Now, I have a feeling there will be a press conference today. I don't know what time. So just set your reminder to remind all, hit that little bell, whatever we're supposed to do. Hell, I don't know. Just get ready, because when they go live, we'll go live. All right, you guys, thanks for jumping in. I tell you what, it wasn't the show that I was expecting, but it's a very pleasant surprise that they found him. Very pleasant surprise. Way to go, law enforcement. Okay? Way to go, law enforcement. Two Boston Moms. Brooks, are you watching Landman? Is that with Billy Bob Thornton, Two Boston Moms? Because I've seen, if that's the one, I haven't started watching it yet. I just finished up another series. Mrs. Italy, I'm so glad you're back. Yeah, I've got to watch that. There was another series with him. I can't remember what it's called. And he's like some washed up attorney that was solving cases. And I just finished it a couple months ago. But I had to finish up Righteous Gemstones. I absolutely love Uncle Baby Billy. If you have not seen Righteous Gemstones, watch it. It is amazing. And I don't know who said that Tennessee has all these missing people. Statistically, they really don't. There's two states that have the most missing people. One is Arizona, and the other is your old buddy Brooks' stomping grounds, Oklahoma. Yeah. Baby Kisses said on Netflix, Righteous Gemstones is on Prime. It's on Prime. All right. Mod Squad. Mwah. Mwah. I'm blowing you kisses. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you for being here. Woo! This has been a wild ride. And old Austin's going to get him a wild ride because it's not going to be the cakewalk that he had the first time. So I'll see you guys back here in a few hours. I'm going to keep the afternoon open in case there's a press conference. So I had another show planned for this afternoon, but I have a feeling we're going to be on standby for a press conference. So y'all enjoy your afternoon, and I'll see you back here. I'm assuming probably about 1 or 2 o'clock because I think they will make a statement today. All right, you guys are the best. Thank you so much for being here. And again, you don't want to have a day like that. Look at that. Look at that bag of scum. Look at that bag of scum. Love you guys.